If you see me leaning over a lot during this race review, it's literally because I'm trying to feed my dog his chicken and rice and his kibble, and it looks like he just knows I'm recording and he doesn't want any. So yeah, okay, I guess we can talk about the race. 2 races left for the playoffs. Watkins Glen, I came into the race looking at 2 drivers, and then those 2 drivers were completely irrelevant the whole race. So basically the talking points I wanted to talk about during this race are pretty much irrelevant. The situation's the same. Blaney's in on points. Truex has to basically win at Daytona, and that's what's going to happen. I thought this race would be very important for the 2 of them, but they literally were non-existent. They were both awful. They both qualified awful. They both raced awful. They just never were able to gain track position. They finished awful. It was just awful for both of them. So unfortunately, I was really hoping to look at that battle. By the way, if you notice rainbow colors, don't worry about it. Just some lighting. Who cares? So unfortunately, that topic, we can't really talk about it. So it is what it is. Truex has to win. That's the situation. But the rest of the race, it's Watkins Glen. This is why. Today and many reasons is why Watkins Glen is my favorite road course on the schedule. I love it. I love the layout of the track. It's high speed. It's fast. It's technical. It's just wonderful. It's probably the perfect road course for a stock car. I don't know, but even with a stock car that does kind of struggle a little bit on short tracks and road courses, Watkins Glen still delivers, and it did help that it rained. So it was raining at the beginning of the race. You had the transition from the wet to the dry. You were able to see just some really compelling strategy as well. And so overall, guys, I think the race was genuinely like 9 out of 10 quality. The last stage maybe was a little bit boring, but then the cautions kind of tightened everything up and gave everyone the the green white checkered restarts, and not really green white checkered, but you know what I mean, like bunch the field up, 5 laps to go, you go. But it was good. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to all the Patreon members as always for supporting the channel. You guys are the best. Titus Ward, thank you so much for joining. You are the new patron. Make sure you join the Discord if you haven't already. Now let's talk about it. We're overall the race, guys, it kind of followed a hey Sky, shut up. No, be quiet. I have to finish my recording. If you don't want to eat, you gotta be quiet. Basically everyone was on different strategies because the race started in the rain. So what happened was there were some guys, like for example, I can't believe where he finished, but Tyler Reddick unfortunately got put on the wrong strategy, but he ended up still coming back and finishing in a very good position, which just shows that even though he didn't compete for the win today, Tyler Reddick had one of the fastest cars in the field, and if he did have the strategy right, then he probably could have won the race. But essentially what happened was that the dry line formed quick. So the dry line formed like 10 laps to go, 9 laps to go in stage 1. But if you guys know, for the strategy, you kind of have to extend that all the way to the end of stage 1, pit with 3 laps to go or whatever. And so some guys decided to come and get on the dry tires. They were literally able to make up a pit stop, like Michael McDowell, for example, who we will talk about. But other guys weren't able to, like William Byron or someone like that. So it depend a lot of things depended on the strategy. And then you had guys like Larson and Chase Elliott, who ended up battling for the win at the end, where they just ran the wet tires as long as they could, even if they were going 3, 4, 5 seconds slower per lap. They just had to run those wet tires as long as they could, get to the 3 laps to go before the stage ends, so that it would work for their pit strategy. Because again, you're not really caring about where you finish. If you're Larson and Elliott in stage 1, you only care about trying to win the race. In the end, that was the right call. The strategy that, Michael McDowell did it a different way. Michael McDowell was just really fast, so he was already, he came down for his dry tires, made up the pit stop, and then came down again when Elliott and Larson came down pit road 3 laps ago in stage 1. So at that moment right there is when you knew kind of who was going to be running up towards the front. That's also when Tyler Reddick's strategy got messed up, because they didn't pit at the end of stage 1. They lose the track position, had to make an extra pit stop, get put back in the pack for restarts, and then he gets involved in some accidents as well. So it was not a good time for Tyler Reddick in the end of stage 1 to stage 2 in the middle part of the final stage. But you knew who was going to probably compete for that win. You were looking at McDowell, who was looking very, very fast. You were looking at Elliott, and you were looking at Larson. Those are the 3 guys, once you saw the strategy, that they looked like they were going to be able to win. Everyone else really did not play a part. Like I mentioned Tyler Reddick, I mentioned guys maybe like Joey Logano and Kyle Busch, but you know, they just never had that speed to really compete for the win. Logano was on a little bit of a different strategy, as well as Kyle Busch, but then Kyle Busch he actually wrecked, you know, in the final stage coming off turn 1. So his bad streak basically continues. So the race kind of plays out from there. But you know, even then, there was still some really good racing, really good battling. You had Kimi Räikkönen in the field, by the way, who was having a lot of fun up there as well. And overall, you know, it came down to the end. It came down to can you beat Chase Elliott? Because, you know, if it's not Tyler Reddick's race got, you know, kind of screwed up with the strategy. Okay, well, Chase Elliott has the perfect strategy. So can you do what Tyler Reddick did at Road America? Can you beat Chase Elliott while Chase Elliott is on the perfect strategy? So he has the track position and he has the speed, and can you beat him? And so that was the battle that everyone had to go up against. Michael McDowell had the track position. Elliott gets around him. Larson tries to stay behind him, but then cautions towards the end of the race start piling on for the restarts. And this is the biggest talking point of the race. I think NBC really tried, you know, I give credit to NBC, guys. They really tried pushing the Larson Elliott rivalry, and I don't think Chase Elliott gave them anything in the post race. You probably could know that he was a little bit ticked off, but Gordon, Hendrick, they don't want in-team rivalry, so that's why Elliott gave them nothing. Like, you actually couldn't tell if he was being sarcastic or not, because, like, you know, when Kyle Busch is angry but he's like, oh no, everything's fine, then, you know, or Kyle Busch is like, you could tell Elliott was actually really good with it. He was like, you know, you couldn't really tell if he was angry. I do think he was a little bit angry, but it is what it is. They don't want any drama in the team. That's how Hendrick Motorsports is. It is what it is. That's what happens when Jeff Gordon's the boss, baby, the GOAT. All right, 4-time champion, 93 or 93. I don't know, somewhere around there. I think it's 93 career race wins. The GOAT, baby. I don't want to hear anything else. But when he's running that team, that's how it is. But basically, you know, this race was decided off a decision by Chase Elliott twice. That's what this race was decided on, and so he has no one to blame but himself. So there was 2 restarts towards the end, one with like 10 laps to go, and then one with around 5 laps to go. And on both times, Chase Elliott took what is quote unquote the outside lane. You get into turn 1, you're on the outside lane. Now, if you can get off of turn 1 and hold your position, yeah, you'll probably carry on through the lead. But, and what surprised me, and this isn't hindsight, I didn't tweet about it, I didn't say anything, but when I saw him doing it, when I saw him picking the outside lane, I just thought to myself, that's a really stupid thing to do. Because yes, you do have your teammate on the inside, but you guys are battling for a race win. And why are you putting, you know, your race result in the hands of another driver? If I'm on the bottom lane, this is like a common rule in racing. If I'm on the bottom lane, I can control the destiny of the guy to my outside, and I can kind of control my race. If I want to run him up the track, I can run him up the track, you know, whatever. Now, the flip side of that is you could get pinched down, you can get loose, you can lose a lot of positions. But as the leader, you want to put yourself in the best position possible to exit, not even just turn 1, but to just make sure you get through turn 1, because you know that's the craziest corner before the S's, in the best position possible. And all day, everyone was taking the inside lane. Elliott decides to take the outside lane. On the first restart, it works, but that's good. But even then, you could see Larson was really, like, he was pinched down, and he had a lean on Elliott a little bit. And then Elliott does it again for the second restart, and it's his mistake. Larson drives it in deep, locks up the brakes, and runs Elliott wide. So in terms of racing, yes, that's Larson's fault. You know, he didn't mean to do it. Larson said he didn't mean to do it, but that's what he has to do to win. It happens before that. Elliott puts himself in that position. He puts himself in that position for that to happen. If he's on the inside, that doesn't happen. He controls that. As the car on the inside, you control that. So for Chase Elliott, unfortunately, like, you know, I think he probably knows it too. And again, this isn't hindsight. I was thinking it at the time. I was like, why are you doing this? And maybe even Alan Gustafson was maybe thinking it, because Gustafson in the interview was like, you know, I'm not in the car, it's his decision. But someone should have told him, you know, I really think you should take the inside line, Chase. But, you know, yeah, you leave it to the driver, but that's his mistake. Elliott can't really be mad at anyone else, because I do wonder if Larson wasn't there, and let's say Logano was in second, and he put Logano on the inside line, like, do you expect Logano to just not, like, move you up the track? Because, like, that's how you can win. Everyone knows you, Chase Elliott, you're the fastest guy at road courses. You dominate. You're the road course king. You're in position to win literally every road course. Think about every road course that's happened this season, except maybe was he in position to win Sonoma? Didn't even win Sonoma. I don't remember Sonoma. Sonoma must have been boring. But think about all the road courses in the past previous years, whether it's final restarts or actually winning the race or battling for the win. Elliott is always there. He is the guy to beat. Okay, so why are you giving someone the opportunity to move you just right aside? You know, it's completely his fault. He needs to take full blame for that and learn from it. Like, just don't put yourself in that position. Don't put yourself in position to be used up or taken advantage of by someone else. Take control of your own destiny. And if you make the mistake or you have to use someone up, make sure you're in position to do that. So, unfortunately for Elliott, that's why he lost this race. Larson pulls away. AJ Allmendinger tries to get to him, isn't able to do it, and Larson wins the race. That you know, it's just a simple decision. And that's kind of crazy that you can run a whole NASCAR race and, you know, have to make a bunch of adjustments and go from wet to dry and do all this stuff, and it all comes down to a decision. That's literally that's how hard it is to win these races nowadays, with the stages and the cautions and the wrecks and the randomness of late race restarts. It came down to a decision. Do I pick this lane or do I pick that lane? And the consequences of doing that can determine the outcome of a race. So, life lesson. You know, just make sure you control your own destiny and don't let someone else control your destiny. That's a life lesson, and it also can be applied to racing, because I think you saw that today. And guess what? I'm sure he'll come back at the Roval, Mr. Elliott, and dominate. Like, losing this race today is not a huge deal. He locked up the regular season championship. All he has to do is just do well in the playoffs. He'll make the Final Four. And again, all this consistency stuff is nonsense, because all you got to do is make it to the Final Four. You only got to be one of 4 drivers, and then just win the final race and you win the championship. So again, you don't gotta be consistent. It doesn't really matter. He did lose the race, whatever it is, what it is. But overall, guys, it was a very solid race, very entertaining, a lot of clean racing, a lot of hard fighting, and I love Watkins Glen. I always will. Sky is actively giving me the death stare, so I need to get to the race results. Okay, so Kyle Larson, AJ Allmendinger, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Daniel Suarez, Michael McDowell, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Chris Buescher, and Eric Jones is your top 10. Now, unfortunately, I don't know what happened to him. He might have wrecked or something, but I want to give a quick shout out, and you know, because I don't remember exactly what happened to him, but in the 15 car, Joey Hand was terrific. Ran top 5 a lot of the day, top 10, absolutely terrific. Also, another shout out, Michael McDowell, who finished 6th, arguably could have won the race. Very, very fast. Fell off there in the final stage, but was very, very, very fast. And then everyone else, you know, like I talked about Tyler Reddick. You know, he was in the dumps, but the fact that he can make his way all the way back to 7th with how hard it was to, you know, get that track position with the strategy. Very, very, very impressive performance. And everyone else kind of had quiet days. Like, Logano ran well. He did win a stage, but he did have technically a kind of quiet day. It was very clear who the fastest guys were. It was Michael McDowell, Tyler Reddick. It was Kyle Larson. It was Chase Elliott. Those guys were really, really quick. And so that's your final race results. And we move on to Daytona. Unfortunately, I will not be going next weekend because I have to take care of the Bubba. I could get a dog sitter, but, you know, it's going to rain anyways. Like, just book it, guys. It's going to rain at Daytona. It happens every summer. August 27th? It's just going to rain. I just have a good feeling that it will. But hopefully it's a great race, and I can watch it on the television and, you know, make the post-race review as well. And, yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's going to be, you know, there's a situation with the playoffs, like Kurt Busch is going to miss the final race as well. Kurt Busch is not technically locked in yet. I don't know how many points away he is from 30th, because he has to fall out of the top 30 in points for his win not to count. He's not locked in. I don't know the situation there because I don't have the points in front of me, but currently the situation is, if someone outside, you know, Bubba Wallace, don't forget about him. He's a favorite heading into Daytona. Bubba Wallace, Truex, you know, Eric Almirola, Michael McDowell, any of these guys, you know, if they end up winning at Daytona, they can spoil the party for Ryan Blaney, who's currently in on points. All Blaney has to hope right now is that one of those guys don't win. If Larson or Elliott or Logano or Busch or you know, not Truex, Christopher Bell or Cindric or anyone else, just name someone who's already in the play, William Byron, all of them. if one of them win, Blaney will be the happiest man on the planet because he makes it into the playoffs. So that is the situation heading into Daytona. We'll see how it goes. It should be a fascinating race because so many guys are in must-win situations, which means they're going to be crazy. I just hope they don't wreck early, because whenever there's an early wreck in a plate race, the energy of the pack dissipates and it ends up not being that great of a race. I hope they save the wrecking for the last 10 laps of the race. That's what I hope. Take care of yourselves. I gotta, take care of this doo-doo head down here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram if you're not already. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out. Yeah, wait. I'm not done yet. Hold on. Where's the bed? Guess who's top of the table? Guess who's top of the Premier League table? Huh? Anyone want to take a guess? Anyone want to take a guess? We're on the comeback, baby. Title charge.